This is a terrifying and strange scene captured in a shopping mall in Guangdong, which seems to be possessed by a ghost. In the surveillance video, an old lady was shopping, but something suddenly fell from the shelf behind her. In the video, it can be seen that the thing seemed to be moved down by some strange force, and the enthusiastic old lady turned around and wanted to help put the thing back. But then a strange scene happened. At the moment when the aunt put the goods back, she seemed to be possessed by something. Then her movements were very strange, as if she was electrocuted or controlled by something. This incident caused a lot of uproar in Guangdong at the time, and there were many different opinions. Today's story is about the various incredible supernatural events that happened in the early days of the construction of this department store. This happened in Guangdong in the 1990s. At that time, the department store in Guangdong had just opened for a few days, but strangely, it happened one after another. Miss Lu opened a toy store in the building. When she locked the door at night for several days, everything was fine, but when she came in the morning, the toys in the store were in a mess and scattered all over the floor. This happened every day. Ms. Lu called the floor manager to argue with her. Faced with her accusations, the manager was also dumbfounded. After all, the mall had just opened and the security measures were very well done. But strangely, except for Miss Lu, other merchants in this store did not encounter any problems. The manager calmed Miss Lu's emotions while trying to find a solution. Miss Lu did not complain anymore, but packed up the shop and prepared for business. In those days, surveillance technology was not as advanced as it is now, but the merchants should be given an explanation for the problems that occurred one after another. After get off work in the evening, the manager sent 2 more security guards. They walked around the mall every once in a while and inspected it carefully. Until late at night, there was still no abnormality in Miss Lu's toy store, but to be on the safe side, they slept on the floor in the shop opposite the toy store. They planned to continue watching through a door curtain, and everything was peaceful until the second half of the night. The entire mall, there was no sound at all, so they planned to lie down and take a nap. But at this time, a burst of laughter suddenly came from the corridor. This laughter seemed to come from another world, ethereal and strange. Then a few shadows flashed through the door. The shadows were very small, like children, running barefoot and laughing, looking very happy. One of the young security guards, Xiao Lu, suddenly woke up when he heard the laughter and quickly woke up the old security guard who was sleeping like a dead pig next to him. They thought, is there a thief? So they carefully opened the door with a flashlight. I opened the curtain and looked into the toy store. I saw several naked babies sitting on the floor, having fun. What was even more terrifying was that these babies were glowing with a faint green light. They looked like they were just born, and some even had umbilical cords attached to their bodies. With such a wonderful plot, I really wanted to drive to the scene to see it. This scene made them tremble all over, and their brains went blank in an instant, and they dared not even breathe loudly. It was not until this time that they realized that the people who had been making trouble in Ms. Lu's toy store in the past few days were not pranksters, but these baby ghosts. At this time, Xiao Lu quickly covered his mouth for fear of making a sound, and the old security guard behind him had completely collapsed at this time and could not help but let out a terrified scream. In an instant, the babies suddenly raised their heads, staring at them with empty eyes, and were shocked by those empty eyes. The eyes of the little ghosts warned them and they felt a chill all over their bodies. A cold air rose from the soles of their feet and rushed straight to the top of their heads. These little ghosts seemed to have their playfulness disturbed. Their expressions suddenly became extremely angry, but they did not make any move. Instead, it slowly dissipated like smoke and disappeared. At this time, the 2 security guards had completely collapsed, curled up in the corner, and kept praying. The next morning, the incident spread completely and everyone was talking about it. As a last resort, the mall owner invited a Taoist priest to perform a ritual of salvation after get off work in the evening. Since then, no similar strange things have happened in Miss Lu's toy store, and the mall has returned to peace. Later, people learned that this mall was a maternity hospital before it was built. According to local elders, hospital medicine was underdeveloped in the early years and was new. The infant mortality rate is high, and those babies are not properly handled after death, so the ghosts remain here and become lonely souls who cannot be reborn.